What's going on, Nyan Nation? Welcome back to the Nyan Arcade for some more Cyberpunk 2077. Today we're going over all the news, details, and information from E3 2019 when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077. This will include every single tidbit of new information compiled from all the articles and videos out there at the moment. This will include new mechanics, story details, gameplay elements, world building details, hacking versus tankier builds, new gangs and districts, and more. Now stick around because we have a Cyberpunk 2077 pre-order giveaway at the end, so you will need a Twitter, a GOG account, and to watch this video in its entirety to answer the question at the end. Getting right into the juicy news, we first have some new images from Cyberpunk 2077 and some details and information to go along with them. CDPR shared screenshots from the public and private demo showcases on multiple platforms which highlight the world of Pacifica, the voodooboys, and more. There were also high-quality renders shared of some of the pivotal characters within the story and the public and private demo, which were all incredible in their own right. If you guys want to check out my recreation of the demo so that you can watch it without quote-unquote watching it, there will be my breakdown in the pinned comment. We also have new Steelbooks as pre-orders from some of the retailers for Cyberpunk 2077. These Steelbooks feature the new gangs. We have the Maesltrom from Watson, the voodooboys from Pacifica, the Tygers Claw, and the Valentinos. Mateus Tomaskiewich has made mention that the 6 districts of Night City will each be run by a certain gang or faction, and that there will be sub-factions amongst them. Downtown will feature corporate security and corpos more so than gangs. There is also the Badlands segment of the outskirts of the world and will feature 2 Nomad factions, the aldecaldos and Raff and Shiv. The aldecaldos are a Nomad nation, and Raff and Shiv are the outcasts of the Nomads. Sasko has made mention that we will be able to go into the Badlands and that there will be some surprises out there. In terms of the story, it seems like birds have been exterminated in the world of Cyberpunk due to them carrying diseases. This makes keeping chickens illegal, and the world largely relies on synthetic meat. When it comes to districts and new areas, there's also cyberspace. In the world of Cyberpunk 2077, there's a black wall which separates the original cyberspace and the lore from Cyberpunk 2077's localized networks. Only the bravest and most skilled netrunners attempt to breach the wall to go to the other side, where there are rogue AIs that develop themselves unchecked and out of the eye of cyberspace police Netwatch. The reason why you jump into an ice bath to go to the deep net is because your body in essence turns into a CPU, and without the ice bath you would overheat or fry yourself. You can of course hack localized networks and cameras, and it is a mini-styled game that includes enemy netrunners and varying degrees of success to each hack. When it comes to minigames, there's a boxing/MMA minigame with a series of matches, as well as car racing and a shooting range at the Second Amendment with Wilson. There is no card game implemented. CD Projekt Red also released beautiful new Cyberpunk 2077 concept art, each highlighting a different aspect of Cyberpunk 2077's people and how they operate. They show the corporate lifestyle, their belief versus a Cyberpunk edgerunner lifestyle versus a working class lifestyle, and more. When it comes to the CGI trailer, many have been asking if this is an integral part of the story arc. This is representative of a mission in-game, and you will be able to influence the result based on how you play. This is also a big turning point in the story, as it sets up the narrative for the Immortality chip and Johnny Silverhand. When it comes to Male V's voice actor, it has been confirmed that it is Gavin Drea. Now we all know that Keanu Reeves is Johnny Silverhand in the game, and we have some interesting details about him. First, he was approached a year ago to get on board with the project. He is an integral part of the story and is the number 2 character other than V with the most dialogue lines. They had 15 days of voice recording for Keanu, and he is a digitized consciousness connected to the Immortality chip. For those wondering how he survived at the end of 2020, Mike Pondsmith teases that no one actually looked at his body post quote-unquote death. He is the poster child for PTSD and is motivated by his own agenda and goals. The way you develop your relationship with Johnny impacts the way you play and the quests and scenes that you see. CDPR said if it wasn't Keanu for Silverhand, they didn't want anyone else. As a rocker boy, Keanu has been hinted at as singing in the game, as Sasko mentions that Keanu was the voice behind the song at E3 2019, where he walks onto the stage to reveal the Cyberpunk 2077 release date, but can't tell us anything more. He surprisingly didn't leak as a character due to him being referred to as Mr. Fusion via correspondence between the team, and evidently that worked out great as Keanu was a huge surprise. When Johnny mentions at the end of the trailer that, quote, there's a city to burn, Paulo Sasco mentions that this means something very specific, but he won't tell anything more than that to avoid spoilers. When it comes to celebrities, they've hinted to have more in the game, but CD Projekt Red has yet to speak on them. Moving on to the gameplay mechanics, this new demo CD Projekt Red was showcasing was focused more on these nuanced mechanics versus their first demo where they tried to showcase everything including the exploration element. First, we learned that the Childhood Hero tab has now been replaced via their Life Path system. This includes a backstory of either a street kid, corporate, or nomad. This influences options further on in the story as you progress and unlocks new dialogue potentials for those who share similar backgrounds. There is also a perk system connected to your skills which will also unlock varied dialogue options when interacting with people. For example, if you put points into a sniper rifle perk tree and you meet a vendor who has sniper rifles on display, you will unlock new options with this new vendor. Those options are still a little fuzzy, but it will have an influence. The perks in the demo included pistols, rifles, blades, shotguns, two-handed, hacking, assassinations, cold blood, sniper rifles, engineering, melee, and athletics. Perks will allow you to improve your effectiveness with specific weapons and unlock new weapons and abilities. When it comes to using companions and drones, they've only confirmed the spider bot, which can have new abilities unlocked as you level up your techie skill tree. You can issue him commands and use the bot in whole sections of quests for quote-unquote special results. You will be able to play the entire game without killing enemies, but in some instances you will have to harm them. This changed based on last year's surveys from demos, and pretty much every weapon in Cyberware choice has a non-lethal option. You can put enemies to sleep, choke them out, or spare them. For those who suffer with motion sickness from first-person shooter games relating to head bobs, the team is working to try to fix this. They've also made mention that you will be able to swim in Night City, and that there are surprises attached to this as well. When it comes to vehicles, you'll be able to have multiple, and you can keep them in garages. You will be able to summon them like Roach, likely due to Smart Link or auto driving feature. You will be able to steal cars and drive through crowds of people, but be wary of the governing force of the districts you do this in. The rules will be enforced by either corporate security or gangs, so you'll likely not be able to do this for too long without having repercussions. Each vehicle has a specific radio station, and you can travel by aerial vehicle in some instances, but you cannot pilot them for now. Yes, you will only have one apartment instead of multiple, as they have gone back to the drawing board for this feature. The Akira-styled bike in the demo is called the Kusanagi, a reference to Major Kusanagi from Ghost in the Shell. When it comes to modifying yourself with cyberware, there is the option to play an almost no upgrade human path. The base augments you will need include the Kuroshi Eye and the subdermal grip shown in last year's demo. The Kuroshi Eye can also have a language translator which will help you decode foreign languages. You will be able to exchange most of your body, legs, spine, and more, but not to the degree of the Maesltrom, as the face is still needed to convey emotion and tell the story. When it comes to exotics, Paulo Sasco mentions that very few people can afford these cosmetic changes, so there will only be a few and there will be special encounters in the story. Mateus Tomaskiewich also mentions that they're attempting to make it so that the main protagonist V can be played transgender or non-binary, and that you can choose both male and female attributes to your character. Nvidia has announced full real-time ray tracing support via RTX technology, and Alvin Liu claims the game looks incredible at night with ray tracing enabled with all the neon billboards. We also have the specs of the PC used to run the E3 demos, so I'll overlay that onto the video. Obviously they have a beefed up PC to run the demo without hitches, so don't freak out as it has to be optimized for current gen consoles and mid-tier PCs. When it comes to endings, there will be a ton of endings, with sub-endings and variations to each ending. Paulo Sasco wants people to be emotionally invested not only in the story, but the endings, and he hopes that the story is gripping enough that you will inevitably cry. Mike Pondsmith, the developer of the source material, also mentions how at the beginning of development, CD Projekt Red's weapon design was too shiny. He wanted big, ugly, and brutal guns that reflect the gritty atmosphere. With the development of Cyberpunk Red, the tabletop game to bridge 2020 and 2077, he makes mention that Red's arc is about hope, which transfers to 2077's idea of corruption and the world acclimatizing to power. Some of the weapons in Red are precursors to 2077's weaponry, and the Age of Red is an actual event that he will discuss later, which takes up the late 30s and mid 40s. No knowledge of 2020 or the source material is required to understand 2077, but if you do, you'll spot many references. Mike expects that there will be a port to next gen at some point in the future. Mateus expects that censorship will be similar to The Witcher 3 and be largely region based. When it comes to collector's editions for PC, CDPR are working on this since it's currently not available in NA, and they will be limited supplies, so once they're gone, they are gone. Also, check out the E3 public booth, which looked like a mega building, and the private booth, which was modeled after the Totentans, a bar from the world of Cyberpunk, featuring in-game ads and Johnny Silverhand's guitar. Finally, we have our giveaway. I made mention in the past that when I hit 2,077 subscribers, I'd give away a copy of Cyberpunk 2077 to a Neon Nationer when we got a release date. Well, the time is finally here, and you guys will need a Twitter account and a GOG account. All you have to do is retweet this video when I post it on Twitter, comment your Twitter handle down in the comments of this video, and mention what your favorite part of the news from Cyberpunk 2077 at E3 2019 is, and you will be entered. I will announce the winner in a couple weeks when everyone has had a chance to comment, and good luck to everyone entering. Obviously, this is a digital copy I'm giving away for the PC platform. I may do more giveaways in the future, so keep an eye out. Also, if you are going to pre-order anyways, consider doing so on GOG, where CD Projekt Red will get all the profit. Thanks for watching, guys, and for everything and anything Cyberpunk 2077, join Neon Nation by subscribing to the Neon Arcade.